Let's do a scroll saw project, start to finish, kick back, check it out.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make a template first. We're going to go through the whole process of doing a project on the scroll saw, including the template. This is a piece of hardboard. I'm just cutting out an 8.5 by 11 sheet so I can stick the paper template I printed out onto it. And I'll just trim it a little bit here and use some packing tape to secure it to the board. And I've been using typically just printouts and sealing them with packing tape and reusing them, but they get very fragile and bent, although I still have most of them in use. But this will be a permanent solution as far as the templates. Here's my Forstner bit set, and we'll use these to drill out the holes for cutting inside the hard to reach places where you stick your scroll saw blade through. And you can see me using my DeWalt drill there, which I've had for a while. You can check out all the tools I use on my website, Rockin' Woodworks, and I'll leave a link to that. I just got this little palm sander at Harbor Freight. So we're going to go ahead and do the inside cuts first. And so the scroll saw is a great tool. You can use it for so many different projects. I've really enjoyed it. I've mentioned it before, but ever since late last year when I had to build a lot of stuff for a fair booth that I was going to be selling at with Javi's wood shop, I had to ramp up my production, and well, you can see that video. I have a couple of videos on that, and so I really took a liking to the scroll saw again. I mean, you could just make some cool things with it. This tool, along with a bandsaw, it's just great. And this is a safer tool, everything considered. But I'm tracing the lines here, and this is what you do with the scroll saw. You have yourself a pattern that you follow, and you just follow the lines. And this is actually, to be honest with you, just to tell you this, this is a project that I needed to do because I was contacted on Etsy. Oh, I need a couple of these sconces. So I went ahead, and that's why I'm doing this template, so that I can reproduce it. I want to go with I want to go with other colors as well. Just have a couple of these. But now that I'm doing this template, it's going to be a nice permanent solution that I can take and spray over my piece. I'll take a board and I'll place the template on it, and then I'll use some spray paint, and it'll mark all around it, and then I have my cutting area. So it's good to use. You could also, again, what I've done always is just print out a sheet of paper, and because it's so thin, the sheet of paper, it makes for a great stencil. And then I'll just tape it on the front and back, and just X-Acto knife the edges, and then you have yourself a laminated piece that you can reuse, right? But if the spray painting outside with it, the wind may blow and lift a little portion or a piece. Since it's so light, it's paper. In the end, little parts might have overspray underneath them, which is a cool effect too. But anyways, here I'm using some black spray paint, enamel paint, and you'll see how that looks. And I've got my pine board there. So I'm going to cut these two pieces here so I can manage them. And we'll drill out some holes entry holes for the scroll saw blade. And it's a fun. The scroll saw is a great project. Like I'm doing. I just finished a Cobra. Remember GI Joe from the 1980s and all the toys and all that good stuff. Growing up in the 80s, that was like the thing. I just finished a Cobra logo wall art, so I'm gonna edit that video coming up next here. I'm gonna put that up on my Etsy store as well. The Cobra sign. So. This is like a shabby chic theme, right? And the idea, it's just like that cottagey feel, you know, that vintagey cottage feel. So what I'll do is after all this, I'll prime it with white paint, and then I'll add a layer, or the top layer of blue, like a baby blue, and I'll sand the edges to reveal the white and the wood layers, and give it that used worn in look. I've never really used a scroll saw necessarily in its traditional, like most people, you'll see them, or a lot of people, you'll see them doing wall art where they take out the negative spaces and put a black board behind the cutout and create picture frames with it. You'll see a lot of cats doing that. And I've always used this for things like this, which is not beyond the pale. But also mostly for hinges. I'll do wooden hinges. I've got videos on that as well. And latches for my boxes, the boxes that I make. This is actually a Harbor Freight scroll saw, by the way. And it's a very basic scroll saw, but the amount of work that I've gotten out of this is incredible. I've made cake toppers and signs on boxes and the hinges and latches and all sorts of. I've done all sorts of stuff. So this is the part where the tea light will sit in. So I'll just force a bit it where this tea light will sit in, and we'll just cut it out. So you see, you could do three-dimensional items that are functional like this, art pieces, decor, with the scroll saw. And again, it's an easy tool to use. It does take a little time to get used to the whole thing, but it's quite fun. I'm gonna go ahead and drill into this part here, and we'll connect this to the actual sconce with dowels. A little bit of wood glue and dowels. And a little bit of hand sanding just to get more of the fibers off, because once you paint, those fibers collect the paint, and it becomes like a thick little section, the fibers sticking out, and it's just a little bit more of a pain to sand. So I'm just smoothing out the face of it and back. And it's getting dark here, as you can see. It takes a lot of work to do these. So I did the white layer, and now I'm adding the blue, and we'll distress it by sanding it. So you can see it's, you would think, oh, it's a simple project and all, but the truth of the matter is that that every project you do, it takes a certain amount of time to actually build all the pieces and finish it and all that. So it is a little involved if you look at all the things that I've done, to create these two pieces. And now I'm distressing it to reveal a little bit of the wood and white on the edges. And that's it. So check out the store. You'll see these sconces and my other items on there. And I'll catch you guys next time. I think we'll do the Cobra Commander, the Cobra sign, the logo, which I'll be adding to my Etsy store as well. All right, guys. Catch you next time.